You eat rice thinking it's the cleanest food on your plate. But what if some of the most popular rice brands in Australia are quietly loading you up with arsenic, pesticide residue, and poor quality grains? And no, this isn't about organic versus non-organic. This is based on actual food testing, sourcing practices, and industry standards. Today, I'm breaking down 9 rice brands you should seriously reconsider, and 3 safer options in Australia that actually pass the test. Some of these are probably already in your kitchen. Let's get into it. Now, before people get triggered, not all SunRice is bad. In fact, it's actually one of Australia's biggest and most trusted rice producers. The issue comes from some of their imported lines, particularly jasmine and basmati rice, sourced from overseas. Here's where it gets important. Rice is uniquely absorbent. It pulls in whatever is present in the soil and water it's grown in, including arsenic. And unlike many other crops, it does this very efficiently because it's grown in flooded conditions. In several parts of Southeast Asia, arsenic levels in groundwater are naturally higher, and in some cases elevated further due to long-term agricultural practices. When rice is cultivated in these environments, it tends to accumulate more inorganic arsenic, which is the form most associated with long-term health risks. Multiple food safety comparisons have shown that imported rice from these regions often contains higher arsenic concentrations than rice grown in Australia, where irrigation systems and soil conditions are more tightly controlled. The real problem isn't just the presence of arsenic, it's the lack of clarity. When you pick up a familiar brand like SunRice, it's easy to assume you're getting a locally sourced product, but unless you check the fine print, you might be buying imported rice without realizing it. And if rice is something you eat regularly, that difference in sourcing starts to matter a lot more than people think. Budget rice always comes with trade-offs, even if they're not immediately obvious. Coles home brand rice is designed to be as cheap as possible, and that usually means sourcing from bulk suppliers across different regions. Instead of coming from a single controlled source, the rice is often blended. That makes it harder to maintain consistent quality because you're dealing with different growing conditions, different processing standards, and different storage timelines all mixed into one product. One batch might cook fine, while another from the same bag could feel slightly off in texture or taste. You'll often notice more broken grains in these bags, which affects how the rice cooks and feels. Broken grains absorb water differently, leading to uneven cooking, a stickier texture, and less defined grains overall. It may not seem like a big deal at first, but over time, it noticeably impacts the eating experience. Another factor that gets overlooked is post-harvest handling. Lower-cost rice is more likely to go through extended storage and bulk transport, sometimes across multiple facilities before packaging. That increases exposure to moisture changes, handling damage, and in some cases, fumigation processes used to preserve large shipments. But more importantly, the lack of transparency means you don't really know where it's coming from or how it's been handled before it reaches the shelf. It's not necessarily unsafe, but it's definitely less controlled. And when you're eating something regularly, that consistency matters more than people think. Woolworths Essentials sits in a very similar category, but it's worth mentioning separately because of how aggressively it's priced. When a product is pushed to be as cheap as possible, something has to give. And in this case, it's usually quality and sourcing standards. The rice itself tends to be more inconsistent, both in grain size and texture. You're more likely to get batches that cook unevenly or don't have the same level of refinement as higher quality options. That comes down to less selective processing and lower grade raw material, where grains aren't as carefully sorted or polished before packaging. Another thing people don't realize is how much variability exists between batches. Because sourcing can shift depending on cost and availability, the rice you buy this month may not be identical to what you bought last month, even if the packaging looks exactly the same. That kind of inconsistency is a direct result of prioritizing price over stability. There's also the issue of supply chains. Lower-cost rice is often transported and stored for longer periods, especially when imported in bulk. Over time, this affects freshness and may increase reliance on preservation methods during shipping. Extended storage can also lead to subtle changes in aroma and texture that you only notice once it's cooked. On top of that, the lack of detailed origin information makes it harder to assess overall quality. Without clear sourcing, you're left assuming standards rather than actually knowing them. Again, this isn't about immediate harm. It's about the long-term difference between something that's tightly controlled and something that's built purely around price. Tilda is marketed as a premium product, and a lot of people assume that means it's automatically better. But once you look at how it's produced, the picture becomes more complicated. Tilda operates at a global scale, sourcing basmati rice from multiple regions. Basmati itself is grown across different parts of India and Pakistan, and not all of those regions have the same soil conditions, water quality, or farming practices. Even within the same country, environmental conditions can vary significantly from one farming area to another. Because of that, arsenic levels and overall grain quality can vary between batches. Even if the packaging looks identical, the actual product inside can be slightly different depending on where it was sourced. This kind of variability is harder to control at scale, especially when supply chains span multiple regions and suppliers. Another factor people overlook is standardization. Large brands often blend rice from different sources to maintain a consistent look, aroma, and texture. While that helps with uniformity, it also means you're getting a mixed product rather than something traceable back to a single origin. There's also the factor of storage and transport. Mass-produced rice is often aged and shipped over long distances, which introduces more handling, more processing, and more time between harvest and consumption. During this period, the rice may go through fumigation or preservation steps to maintain quality during transit. So while Tilda might feel like a premium choice, you're often paying more for branding rather than a significantly cleaner or more controlled product. Daawat is extremely popular, especially among people who prefer basmati rice. It's widely available and known for its aroma and texture. But once you look beyond that, there are some important things to consider. Large-scale exporters like Daawat rely on networks of farms, which means the rice isn't coming from a single controlled environment. Different farms use different practices, and that creates variability in everything from pesticide use to soil quality. Some farms may follow stricter standards, while others operate with more lenient controls, and all of that ends up feeding into the same supply chain. Some global food monitoring reports have shown that rice from certain regions can contain detectable levels of pesticide residue. These are usually within legal limits, but that doesn't necessarily make them ideal for frequent consumption, especially if rice is a staple in your daily diet. Over time, small exposures can accumulate, which is why consistency in sourcing matters. There's also the aging process. Basmati rice is often stored for extended periods to improve its texture and aroma, but long storage times can introduce additional handling and preservation steps. During this time, the rice may be treated or managed in ways that aren't always clearly communicated to consumers. Another factor is traceability. With such a large and complex supply chain, it becomes difficult to pinpoint exactly where your specific batch came from, which makes it harder to assess overall quality and safety. So while Daawat performs well in terms of taste, it doesn't always offer the same level of consistency or transparency as locally grown alternatives. Laila falls into a similar category, but with slightly less visibility in the Australian market. The concerns here are largely the same, but they become more noticeable because the brand isn't as closely scrutinized. The main issue is traceability. With imported rice, especially from large supply chains, it becomes difficult to know exactly where the product originated and how it was handled along the way. Unlike smaller or locally sourced products, there's often no clear indication of the specific region, farm, or processing facility involved. That uncertainty matters more with rice than with many other foods, because rice is highly absorbent. It reflects the conditions it was grown in, whether that's clean water or contaminated soil. Even small differences in environment can influence what ends up in the final grain. Another factor is supply chain length. Imported rice like Laila typically passes through multiple stages, including harvesting, milling, storage, export, shipping, and local distribution. Each stage adds time and handling, which increases the chances of variation in quality and freshness. There's also limited consistency between batches. Because sourcing can shift depending on availability and cost, the product you buy today may not be identical to what you buy next time, even under the same brand name. Without clear sourcing information, you're relying on general trust rather than specific knowledge, and that's not ideal for something that's part of your regular diet. Royal Umbrella is known for jasmine rice, which is softer and more fragrant than other varieties. It's popular for a reason, but there's a trade-off that doesn't get talked about enough. Rice grown in parts of Thailand can have higher arsenic levels compared to rice grown in Australia. This isn't a criticism of the country's agriculture overall, but rather a reflection of environmental conditions. In many rice-growing regions, crops are cultivated in flooded fields, and the water used can naturally contain varying levels of arsenic, depending on the source. Water sources, soil composition, and farming practices all influence how much arsenic ends up in the grain. Even within Thailand, these factors can vary from region to region, which means not all batches of rice are identical in terms of what they contain. Another point to consider is that jasmine rice is typically less processed than some other varieties, which can preserve its aroma and texture, but also means fewer steps where impurities might be reduced. Combined with longer export supply chains, this adds another layer of variability before the rice reaches Australian shelves. When you compare that to Australian rice, which is grown under more controlled irrigation systems and stricter regulatory oversight, the difference becomes clearer over time. If jasmine rice is something you eat occasionally, it's not a major concern, but if it's a daily staple, switching to a lower arsenic option makes more sense over time. Mahatma, this is one that surprises a lot of people. Rice grown in the United States, particularly in certain southern regions, has historically shown higher arsenic levels than rice from many other parts of the world. The reason goes back decades. Some of these areas were previously used for cotton farming, where arsenic-based pesticides were heavily applied. Even though those practices have stopped, residues remain in the soil and continue to affect crops grown there today. Rice absorbs what's in the soil, so those historical factors still influence the final product. Because rice is grown in flooded conditions, it tends to take up more of these elements compared to other crops, which makes the issue more noticeable over time. Another factor is consistency. While not all US-grown rice has the same levels, the variation between regions means you don't always know what you're getting unless there's clear sourcing information available. That lack of precision makes it harder to assess long-term exposure. There's also the added layer of import and storage. By the time US rice reaches Australia, it has gone through long-distance shipping, multiple handling stages, and extended storage periods, which further separates the consumer from the original source. That makes imported US rice a less ideal choice, especially for regular consumption. It's not about the brand itself, it's about the environment the rice was grown in, which ultimately matters more than the label on the bag. Generic Asian grocery. Bulk rice is probably the most unpredictable option on the list. Bulk rice sold in large, unbranded sacks often comes with very little information. You don't know exactly where it was grown, how long it's been stored, or how it was transported. In some cases, even the packaging conditions are unclear, especially if the rice has been repacked or handled at multiple points before reaching the store. That lack of transparency creates uncertainty. It doesn't mean the rice is automatically unsafe, but it does mean you're making a decision without having all the information. And with a product like rice, where environmental conditions directly affect what ends up in the grain, that missing information becomes more important. Another concern is storage conditions. Bulk rice is often kept in open or loosely sealed containers, which can expose it to humidity, air, and potential contaminants over time. Even small changes in moisture can affect quality, leading to stale or uneven cooking results. There's also no real consistency between batches. One purchase might be perfectly fine, while the next could be noticeably different in texture, smell, or quality, simply because it came from a different shipment or source. When there are clearly labeled, traceable options available, it's hard to justify taking that risk for something you eat so frequently. Understanding what to avoid is one part. The next is knowing which options are actually safer and more consistent. When SunRice is grown in Australia, it becomes one of the most reliable options available. Australian rice farms operate under strict agricultural standards, with controlled irrigation systems and relatively low environmental arsenic levels. That combination results in a product that is more consistent and easier to trace. The key detail to look for is clearly stated on the packaging. If it says Australian-grown, you're getting a very different product compared to imported lines under the same brand. Sunwhite offers a good balance between affordability and quality. It's widely available, processed locally, and tends to maintain more consistent standards than most budget alternatives. Even when the rice isn't entirely Australian-grown, the level of processing and quality control is generally higher than what you see in generic supermarket brands. That makes it a more dependable, everyday option. This is a more premium choice, but it stands out because of its focus on sourcing transparency. Brands like Forbidden Foods tend to operate on a smaller scale, which allows for better oversight and clearer supply chains. You're paying more, but you're also reducing the number of unknowns. And when it comes to something as frequently consumed as rice, that trade-off can be worth it. At the end of the day, this isn't about avoiding rice. It's about understanding what influences its quality. There's also a simple habit that helps more than people realize. Rinsing rice thoroughly and cooking it in excess water before draining it can reduce arsenic content significantly. That doesn't fix everything, but it does make a difference. Rice seems simple, but once you understand where it comes from, the differences become obvious. Some brands focus on cost, others focus on quality. Now you know which is which. If this made you rethink what's in your kitchen, subscribe for more and comment rice if you want a full grocery breakdown next.